Alright, so I just posted the Dante whistle video, and I'm getting several questions about people asking me about the other G whistles that I have in comparison to the Dante whistle set. So I thought real quick I would go through the four G whistles that I play, all of them that I like in various ways. So I've got the Carbony, the Dante, the Dixon, and then my Goldfinch. So each one has a slightly different character. Here's the Dante, and again in the set, I would say this is probably my favorite. Maybe the A. The A is also really good. I like the F and the low D. They just get softer and mellower, and it's kind of like that with a lot of low Ds. I like F better than low D because F is a little bit brighter, a little bit punchier. And in this set, I feel like because of the soft blowing nature of it, I think that's why I like most of the time like the harder blowing whistles. Like in the lower whistles, I think I like the more a little bit more power, a little bit more bite to the tone, and so the Dante low D reminds me of my Chieftain V3 a little bit, like the tone of it, but the V3 is it pops in a way that the Dante doesn't. And again, for the price, the Dante's really good, and it's probably why I like the tone so much, is because it's a lot like my V3, and I really like my V3. So if you take the V3 and you made it quieter, kind of like the V5, but you didn't increase the back pressure, I feel like that's kind of gets you in the ballpark of what the Dante is. So as far as the G goes, because it's a higher whistle, I feel like it benefits from that extra softness, extra openness of being such a soft blowing whistle, and it's not super loud. I said it doesn't get nasally, so I'm enjoying it. So here it is. So it does need to be blown softly and gently, but I feel like it's very stable. I feel like it's stable. It's not one where I feel like I'm just constantly in danger of overblowing it, or that I have to push really hard at one end and then pull back on the other. Like it's the breath pressure is very even. It's an even increase throughout the range. So I'm blowing softly at the bottom, I'm blowing softly at the top, second octave, I just need just a little bit more pressure to kick it in there. Stays in there most of the time when I want it. I mean, I make mistakes every once in a while, but it doesn't feel like it's unstable in the way that I've run across on other ones. So in the past, the Dixon I've had trouble with, and I think it's probably kind of the same issue. The Dixon is very sensitive to overblowing, and I like to give whistles. I'm coming from Goldies and Burks and stuff where you can just sort of lean into whistles, and so getting to a delicate whistle, it can be an adjustment. And I don't think I made the adjustment very well in sometimes, especially in the context of a whistle review where I'm blowing really hard and then trying to pull back. It shifting gears like that can be difficult. So the Dixon, I think I got a handle on it. And it's actually really nice playing and similar to the Dante. So So you can hear it feels like a smaller sound to me. It's very crisp, and I've described the tone of the Dixon as a kind of a porcelain crispness. It's very unique in the whistles, but there's actually some similarity. But I feel like the Dante has just a little bit more fullness, a little bit more. It's a little bit rounder, not quite as crunchy. Uh, but I feel like it's got a very good, again, very much a personal taste kind of thing. But I feel like it's got just enough roundness to the tone, to or smoothness, to just be a very good general purpose G whistle. Like it's got just a. I like the tone on them. Again, the V3 to me is a very. I like the tone. Some people think it's too breathy. There's too much air noise in there. But it's one of my favorite whistles because it gives it kind of that wild whistly, like hearing the tone coming over the hill in the hills of Ireland kind of kind of feel, rather than a pure, very pure, more like a recorder kind of thing, which is closer maybe to what the Goldfinch is. But so. Versus Dixon. So so again, the Dixon, once I figured it out, because it's like I was expecting a certain volume out of it, and I was pushing it too hard, and getting the volume until I got to the bottom two notes, and then I would have trouble with that kind of thing. So once I just figured out, I just need to pull back, it's fine. So it's just a quiet whistle. So for a small, I think of it as a dainty sound. The Dixon's actually really good. It's, again, very similar to the Dante music, which I like. I just feel like the Dante is just a little bit fuller and a little bit closer to what I'm looking for, and more like a standard, what I would expect as far as a standard volume goes. Not the loudest whistle by any stretch, but it's good. In contrast, not in contrast of goodness, but in contrast of just a very different kind of whistle, the Goldfinch G, which I like a lot, has more back pressure. It's a warmer tone, more than anything. So here's the, again, Dante. And again, talking about transitioning, I tried to play this one, and I couldn't. It took me a second because I was blowing this one out of key after playing the Dante. So just a strong, smooth, like I said, warm tone. It doesn't have that I guess it's a metallic ringing to it. It absorbs those overtones like wood or something. It's like so. So the benefit to this one, or what I like in particular about this one, itchy dog, is that it's got a thick, kind of rich tone, and there's just a little bit more back pressure. It takes probably less air, I would say, than the Dante, so it's very air efficient, but the back pressure just gives you a little bit more stability and the ability to kind of lean into it, and it feels like it's easier to control the dynamics. Whereas a whistle, and that's one of the benefits, and one of the things I like about having some back pressure in a whistle is if you imagine you're really strong and you're pushing a cart, and a completely empty cart, you try to push it and it just goes, and the only thing stopping the cart is you holding it back, and versus a cart with a load in it, when you start to push it, it instead of just flying off, you have to you are intentionally moving it, and to speed up, and so it's not as quick to change speed, but it is, you have more control. And so that is, if you imagine that is how I feel about the difference between these two. I've got a little bit more control, tactile control over the Alto G. I have a little bit more speed, a little bit more a lightness, a quickness to the Dante that I don't get with this. If I'm looking at the tone, I would probably choose the Dante, but the warmth and the smoothness of this one is nice too. I was playing this one and I was thinking I really like this one better, and then I started playing this one and I was both of these are whistles that I can just sit and enjoy, or instead of having to think about worrying about overblowing it or something. They fall very naturally on me, so I enjoy both of them. Here is the Carbony G, just for reference, so another very different whistle. This is another one I would put in that lightness, that light, quick whistle category. It's not a really heavy sound, but it's also a warm, woody sound, similar to the Goldfinch, because it's instead of being metal, it's like a thicker carbon fiber plus resin or whatever that holds the carbon fiber in place. So. So, again, this one I've always thought is kind of a high whistler's Alto G. It's got, again, light, quick, not a really big full sound. Very easy blowing as well, versus have that. Probably slide out just a little bit. apologize. I feel like these are all like slightly differently tuned. So there you go. I said three. I would say three really good low Ds. You got or low Gs, alto Gs, and you've just got different options when it comes to the tone character and volume is the big one that kind of separates those. Like I said, whether or not you want like a thick tone or a breathy tone or small tone, like nice. I mean, I feel like the Dixon would be just a killer kind of apartment whistle if you need something that's quiet, especially if you have smaller hands and you can't play a low D or something. Then the Dixon G is a good one. So I hope that's helpful.